When the 18th century historian Edward Gibbon wrote that style is the image of character, he was referring, of course, to the significance of a writer's prose style. On this point, however, Mr. Gibbon and I are on the same page because I think that style reveals the attitudes, concerns, desires and beliefs not just of an individual but of a whole society, and is a cultural mirror to how we live. But back to the individual. How I dress really does affect how I feel and how the world I feel responds to me. I mean, haven't you noticed the same thing? I know Miss Jason has. He's my dedicated fashion correspondent, and for this series he's been visiting various UK cities to get a sense of what people are wearing. So where is he today?
Hi everyone, Miss Jason here, and I am in the gorgeous city of Liverpool. I can see so much style going on already. Let's get into some of the people's looks. I also want to find out if the people of Liverpool are buying second-hand, and if not, why not?
More from Miss Jason later. This programme isn't a simple celebration of fashion. Later you're going to be hearing from fashion activist Carrie Summers, who loves fashion just as much as me, but wants to stop it damaging people and the planet. And of course I'll be looking at design in the widest possible sense. I'll be marking the 30th birthday of two design institutions, the Design Museum in London and Vitra Design Museum in the small German town of Weil am Rhein. One person who's spent his career broadening the definition of what a designer can do is Tom Dixon. Tom's been awarded the prestigious London Design Medal. It's given to someone who's demonstrated consistent excellence in their field. Previous winners include the architect Zaha Hadid and fashion designer Paul Smith. Self-taught, Tom has been at the cutting edge of British design for decades. For many years, he was creative director at Habitat before setting up his own label, and his designs include furniture, lighting, candles, textiles. I asked him about British design.
The thing about British designers is that they're a very international mob, and they go and work a lot for foreign companies, German, Japanese, American. And I've stayed at home and I have created my own platform and my own label. So I guess I'm more visible.
Would you say today that there was a British aesthetic? If you were thinking about our home, I mean, I was going back to the time when IKEA landed in across the world, I would imagine. But I thought, which was such a clever little campaign when they did Chuck Out the Chintz, which was all our Laura Ashley days. Mm-hmm. If you were to say what you think is a British aesthetic today, what would you describe it as?
I think it's almost impossible to define because we're now also influenced internationally by images coming from all over the world. That I think that there is a planification. I mean, it's easier to look at it from outside, or to look at other cultures and say, well, Japanese aesthetic is still minimal and French aesthetic is still quite refined. I mean, maybe British taste is slightly more honest and basic. I mean, I can only talk for myself that, I've got an interest in craft and industry and noble materials. So that's what we do. There's also something about the fact that we had the Industrial Revolution first, which I think is kind of interesting. So we had manufactured goods for everybody on a much earlier than the rest of the world. So it's a combination of craft and industry that interests me.
At the time you received this medal, you created this installation. I just love the title of Touchy, Smelly, Feely, Noisy, Tasty. Because that just, to me, just tells the truth, doesn't it? It just goes straight to, you meet people where they are. You're not asking them to come and worship at the Temple of Design. You're making this is all about the senses. It's much more than just looky, isn't it?
Yeah, so I had this reflection, which is partly that people are looking at their tiny little screens. They're staying at home, so I wanted something which pulled people out and made them come and visit me. So that was important, number one. But also, as we do more and more interior design, I'm conscious of the fact that the designers primarily use their eyes, and there's a whole world of other experiences that you can have if you use your other senses. So, often people experience an interior through their nose, a bad smell or a good smell. And certainly in restaurants, you'll have a good or a bad evening according to how acoustically brilliant it is or not. You may not be able to hear anything and you'll go away with a bad impression. You'll have forgotten the decor.